Welcome to the Honest Designers Show, your transparent look into life as a modern designer. My name's Tom Ross and I'm the founder at designcuts.com, and this week I'm joined by my fellow Brit and hand lettering expert Ian Barnard, American retro design expert Dustin Lee, and the incredibly talented South African illustrator Lisa Glanz. Today we are taking, and in fact for the next 2 weeks we're taking some serious listener Q&A. We love these sessions. We can't wait to answer as many of your wonderful questions as possible. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Hey guys.
Hey.
Hey Tom.
Hey.
How are we all doing on this wonderful Wednesday?
We're doing well, actually.
Pretty
Thank
good,
you.
man.
Good.
Other than fighting the fear of coronavirus.
Yeah, apart from the world being turned on its head, of course.
Can I ask what, because I will explain where I'm at in terms of being at home. I say being at home all the time. I'm always at home all the time, working for myself. But I've realised that I'm eating like there's no tomorrow.
Yes.
Or like literally eating every 5 minutes.
Mate, every time
Yes!
I hung out with you in person, you eat like there's no tomorrow. I do not understand how you're not obese.
Well,
I've only hung out with you a few times, and I know, and you always eat so much. How do you keep such a physique, my friend?
I don't know.
I mean,
need
we've
to do-
we've all seen him fit his fist in his mouth, right? He can fit his
Oh,
fist in his
thanks,
mouth,
mate.
and that is kind of like the funnel where he can fit so much food in.
Dude, this guy's a tall glass of water, and like he's constantly eating.
Maybe it's running around after my kids keeps me.
Could be that.
But I'm
be
also
that.
not sleeping very well.
Great weight loss tip right there.
Nice.
My creativity's like, we've got all this time, and my creativity's
In the
the only thing
toilet.
that's gone outside. It's all right. Walked off, struggling to focus, and what else? Yeah. I don't know if anyone else is suffering from that, or is that just me?
Yeah, I was asking some other people that. I was like, does anyone else feel like it's really hard to like get as much done? Like, it's not even like I'm thinking about coronavirus, or I should get smart with it, COVID-19, or any of that kind of stuff. Like right in the front of my head, but like I'll just notice, man. It's like a weight. It's like waiting on me, and like
It is.
I just find like yesterday went by, and I was like, I had this big long Trello board of stuff to move across it, and like one thing moved across it. Everything is like my brain is just filled with like concerns.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, so true. Yeah, I'm
It's hard,
I'm
isn't
also
it?
eating
Yeah.
a lot. Eating a lot and doing
Drinking a
things
lot.
like slow-mo. Yeah, drinking a lot.
Yeah, it's weird. There's no separation between days as well. I've really noticed that.
Yeah. Lisa, I saw the news, South Africa on the news, and they said they've been doing arrests for people in possession of alcohol.
Yeah.
And I was just
Pretty
thinking
much.
about, sort of
I'll be
hoarding all your,
arrested.
like everyone else is hoarding the toilet paper, and you're hoarding the red wine.
Well, luckily
Correct.
she's already got a ginormous wine cellar.
I
built
do.
in
Have
her
you?
house.
Well, it's not a
I
cellar,
also
but
because
we
you're
have
like on the
stock.
bottom of the earth. You're coming out of your winter, so like you guys don't have as much. They think maybe you guys don't have as much of.
No, we're
that
going
virus around
we're going
because-
into our winter, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, but what
Right,
temperature is that? It's still probably warmer than the UK.
Yes.
True.
Sorry. Yeah.
Hey, totally random.
Yes.
Totally random thing, but Tom, I just noticed you have a cage. For the first time, I noticed there's a cage on the ground of your house. What's in that cage?
What?
That's where I keep my evil twin brother.
It's quite small.
Yeah, no, he's tiny. Well, he was born in the cage, so he's kind of had stunted growth. He fit your accommodation, so to speak. It's for our hamster, but this is genuinely tragic. So I'm recording at home with everything going on. That is an empty cage that on a daily basis reminds me of our second hamster that lived in it who died. So now it's an empty cage.
Is
It's
it like
it's a
a
haunting
Terrible.
memory. So thanks for bringing that up, Dustin.
Oh man, you
Unbelievable.
bet.
It's horrible.
You should have Lisa make a little tribute, like have her make like a little drawing of him or her, and put it into like a little circle oval frame, and you can like, put it on the wall.
His name
with,
was
like, this
Vlad.
His name was what?
Really?
Vlad. I feel like
Was he Russian?
He was a Russian dwarf hamster. Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
Vladimir. I feel like I'm in Fight Club. His name was Vlad. His name was Robert Paulson. Shall we jump into some Q&A before we ramble on anymore?
Oh, right. That's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing a podcast. Yeah, Natalie asks the first question, which says, how do you sell your products/services in a time when everyone is holding on to every penny during this global pandemic? And there's kind of a second part to the question from A. Villasis, which says, listen to the podcast every week and I've learned so much from it. I have a question. Where is the line when it comes to design on social media and current events? A friend asking me when Corona exploded how I was planning on capitalizing on it. I feel many people use tragedies that are trending on social media as a way to grow their following. And I understand engaging on current topics, but where's the line between staying current and relevant and just exploiting the suffering of others? So I've mashed those two very good Corona themed questions together. What do we think people, how do you sell, how do you put content out during this time without taking advantage of the vulnerable or anyone?
I don't know, but I've seen it, and it's kind of like they say about porn. I can't, it's hard to describe it, but I know it when I see it. I've seen some people sell them like there's special elixirs, like homemade elixirs that they say will help. And man, something doesn't feel right sometimes about that. $19.99, for this home elixir, like protect yourself from coronavirus. Dude, not cool.
What's that?
It's like you're getting to see mini profiteers.
That?
Profiteering in the war. It's like mini profiteers, like because we can all be profiteers if we want now.
Back up. What are they saying? Sorry, I missed that.
You say like mini something.
Elixir.
You need to we need the translation.
Like, well, okay, so like there might be perhaps an herb that someone believes maybe can help to protect from coronavirus.
Oh, right.
Or they might say that they have a special cleaning substance or something that does.
Right.
That stuff all makes me feel very uncomfortable.
For sure. Look, you know what? It actually boils down to, in my opinion, I guess, intention behind what it is that you're doing. Like, are you trying to help people, or are you actually just trying to make a fast buck? I know they would probably argue that they're trying to help and make money. I don't know. But as you said, Dustin, it's kind of like you'll feel it, you'll see it when you'll know it when you see it, kind of thing. And
if it feels icky.
Yeah, it feels icky.
Right.
And, I guess, Tom, but going back to your question by the listener, it's like, it's your own gauge. Like, where's your own kind of like moral compass? So if it feels icky to you before you do it and put it out there, then it's wrong. Then don't do it.
I feel like, what do you guys think of this? I feel like this is a pretty solid rule for this. If it seems like if you're trying to leverage fear to get people to buy it, like if you're trying to scare them into purchasing, something's probably not right.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of putting it. Using fear is not good, for sure. I'm going to refer us back to Sean Wes's recent quote, which was, there's a difference between making money during a pandemic versus making money from a pandemic. But even then, I think to an extent, the line does get blurred because, for example, I'm encouraging everyone to adapt to the times. There's restaurants that are adapting to offer delivery only. They're technically making money from the pandemic in the sense of they're adjusting and using people's situation to make money. But that's people that want to support their business and they're providing them with a great service that does kind of, work in these times. We had our recent live event. We pushed that out because we knew people needed a sense of community and stuff. Did we make money during that?
Right.
Yeah, great. But we were able to pay designers like you that we work with money, and that made me really happy and everyone loved it. And we got nothing but positive comments being like, this is incredible. This is what we need right now. So
Absolutely.
But that's not using fear, like Dustin said. If we're freaking people out and trying to do that to profit, I've put out some content recently that is not fear mongering, but very serious and pretty heavy hitting. But there's no way that I was going to upsell something on that. I was putting it out for free of
Exactly.
like, know your numbers, like, you know, don't panic, but like take this serious. You got to know your numbers. You have to get your business together now, not later, because I don't want you guys to suffer. If I put that out and then I'm like, and now buy my course where I'm going to reveal how you can do that.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's
the
nasty.
dichotomy, because if you feel afraid or if you feel like people need to know, it's okay. And if it's scary, that's okay. It's when that dichotomy happens where at the end of it, and it's like, but for just X amount of dollars, like you can like have like, you can like put a life preserver around your business, blah, blah, blah. No.
It just feels wrong.
But yeah, it's weird though.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sometimes people will be offended no matter what.
It will be. Yeah.
And I think it's just like if you were doing what you're doing now outside of a pandemic or, you know, a worldwide disaster, would it seem weird, you know, in terms of how you're selling it? You know, if you're using the pandemic to sell it, if you did it outside of it and it sounded weird, then that's like a way of, you know, to see whether if you're profiteering off it, you know.
Yeah.
Because like none of us have really changed what we're doing because we've always been selling digital products, so we haven't had to like adjust. You know, like Tom has to adjust how he deals with his team, but we are all digital sellers rather than physical sellers, which we've had to really adjust. So, you know, I don't think we've had to pivot too much in terms of, you know, how we sell. I think it's just like we just continued on what we've been doing.
But there's people doing sales. I think, Dustin, did you do a sale? And tons of other people I know did a sale because they're saying, you know what, times are tight for many. So I'm going to, you know, discount some of my stuff and help you out. That's fine, in my opinion.
And we made a real honest question to ourselves. We were just like, are we doing this to make money because we need money? Or are we doing this because it's an extension of showing like, we understand like we're with you.
Yeah.
We weren't having any problem. We didn't do it because we were like, this is like a cash grab. We really made sure, are we doing this because this is helpful? And we've totally felt like, yeah, this is something we can do to kind of put our flag in the ground and be like, we want to help.
But even if you were making money and doing it to make money, would that be wrong? Maybe not, because you're in a great position. But imagine if you guys were struggling financially and you're like, I want to save my business, and if people want to support us, great. I'm going to give them the opportunity to do so. So if you did a thing saying times are tight for everyone, we're running a sale, and you made some money from that and kept your business afloat and your team employed, you're still not using fear. You're still not pressuring anyone. If they see it and they're like, that's a great deal, I'd like that, you're not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
No, you're totally right.
So
yeah.
in the second question, they talked about the friend who was talking on capitalizing on it. I think that's the wrong word. We need to think about adjusting to it. Like there's, you know, worst case scenario, this is going to be 6 months, even longer, potentially.
Longer.
Imagine, you know, God forbid if this like, you know, it's already mutating and so on. Imagine if it got worse and it got like really long term and that became the new normal. Would that be capitalizing on it, or would it just be everyone being forced to adjust to survive, you know, economically during these times?
Yeah, I don't personally. I don't think there's anything wrong with adjusting your business to move with the times. I mean, we have to do it all the time. But again, I mean, we've said this already many times. It's just all about the intention and what are you, you know, from what place are you doing it from fear or just trying to make a quick buck of people's misery? I think that's obviously just not on.
No,
we're not.
Well, I'll give you an example. Tell me what you guys think about this, because this like rubbed me like not in a great way, but maybe it was just me. So, are you guys familiar with Goop and Gwyneth Paltrow?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so maybe I just like this was like photoshopped or something, but I saw a picture where she had this like mask on, like, you know, like one of those medical masks, and it was a Goop one with like all this like kind of looked bedazzled a little bit or like just like fancy, and it was like selling for a bunch of money. And and like I said, like I can't even remember where I saw it, so if I'm wrong, like please correct me, people listening, but I thought, is that okay or is that not okay? Like Is it? I'm like literally asking. I can't tell.
Well, you know what it is. It doesn't appeal to me. I would never be interested in something like that. But I think there's some women or men out there that would want to still. It sounds bizarre to say this, but want to still look like fashionable with their mask. So you're still answering a question or a need in a particular market, and I guess where you think it feels weird, and it does also feel weird to me, is that maybe it's about the taste level of it. I don't know. I don't know. To me, I would never be interested in something like that. But I guess there are people out there that would. They still want to look bedazzled in a time of crisis. I don't know.
I guess that's true. Like, she didn't promise that it did miracles to protect you or something. She was just like, kind of like, look, this looks cool.
Look, you can still look
this
cool.
Is what we got.
I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
I think it
You're
depends
right.
on
What's
your.
wrong with that?
In that, yeah, you know what it is. Like in that particular instance, they know their target market and they know their customer really well. I guess. I mean, I don't look. I don't know the company that you're referring to. I don't know them well, so I can't speak for them. But
sure,
maybe
she's wearing a Goop shirt right now. Just so you guys that are listening know.
I don't even know who Goop is. What is that? Anyway, so they obviously know their audience, and they're appealing to them. I guess. I don't know. It's weird. I think what you said originally, Dustin, is perfect. It's all about, are you appealing to people's fear and are you trying to make money off their anxiety? I think that is just not on. So yeah.
So the other part of the question was, how do you
Making
sell? When people are holding on to every penny. And this is a question I've probably got like 30, 40 times in the last week or so. And my answer's been very consistent. I think you need to be more adaptable than you've ever been. And I think you need to be more open to pivoting. And I think the most obvious thing you can do is simply target people that are less impacted by this, or even better yet, thriving during this. Because not everyone's suffering. And so case in point, one of my coaching students was targeting the hospitality sector with one of his businesses. And he's like, none of them have any money. They're all going bankrupt and they're really struggling. So it would be very dumb to continue targeting that sector and trying to sell to them when they don't have any money. But I have plenty of friends in other sectors, most of them online, where they're doing better than ever. And they're still buying stuff and they're still using people's services and buying their products and so on. So go to the people that actually have the resources. Don't try and sell to the people holding on to every penny who are struggling, because that would just be wrong anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And also, that's great advice, Tom. And also what you can do if you still want to maintain the relationship that you currently have with your existing clients is somehow offer them something for free, or somehow think of a way to just keep you in the back of their mind through this whole experience, so that when everything does eventually go back to normal, hopefully, you'll still be there in terms of their, in their mind. For example, my dance studio, obviously they had to close, but what they started doing was posting very small 2-minute technique videos, so while we're at home, you can still do your technique for your dancing, so just reminding us that they exist. And then by the time you get back, it's like, okay, guys, we're back, we'll see you at your lesson. I'm so glad that you did your technique, all that kind of stuff. So it's important to do that while everything's going on. Just keep reminding them that you're out there.
Front of mind. I like it. Should we go to the next question, guys? Okay. Who wants to take it? I know you guys had a few.
Okay, Dustin, you've got a few.
You've got a few.
Go on, Dustin.
Oh gosh, I didn't know I was going to have to choose one so quickly.
Go. Pressure.
The pressure's on.
I could ask one if you want, because I only got one. Yeah. Oh no, I've got. I
got one. I don't want to blow my shot. So this is from Monkey Feet Design. It says, what do you think the best thing to do in this climate is? I'm doing designs to keep my mind occupied, but sales have gone down so much I don't want to be wasting my work by posting if no one can buy, then still want to be active. So I guess...
Just read that again. What?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't get all of that.
As I read that, it started. I started off good, then I got confused. My question would be, what do you think the best thing to do in this climate is? I'm doing design to keep my mind occupied, but sales have gone down.
Kind of what I just
I would
said.
cut the question there. That what?
Kind of what I just said. Like just to adjust and, go target people that do have money and do want to buy.
Are you guys putting restrictions on your work more? Like I find that I have, because this made me think, for instance, I've had to make a hard deadline in the evening where I stop, or else I'll keep going because I feel like if I don't, and then like my business goes under, I'll be like, why didn't I keep working?
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah.
No, for me it's like another day. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a weirdo, but for me, I've just been doing what I normally do. I don't know. Why has it changed for you, Dustin? I mean, aren't you at home every day?
Maybe it's just like everything. Like I feel like I have to cut off everything and be like, no more news, no more thinking about the business, no more thinking about what's happening to the industry or if anything's happening to it. Like I just have to say, like my mind is done thinking about that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I would say for you, just keep doing what you're doing and do what feels right and do what maintains balance. That's really what we should all be doing. You've got no reason to panic. You're going to be fine. You've got a great business. It's going to be less impacted than most. Keep ticking along with it and keep looking after your family and so on. Being completely honest, because that's the premise of this show, I've been working day and night and weekends. Mainly as a channel for my anxiety. So not out of sheer panic, but like I'm struggling to sit and relax. And so I'm just, I'm doing stuff. Like I'm doing stuff all the time.
How do you find your family is like, that's the thing I think too, is like, I'm like, how's my family, especially my kids, because kids obviously when they're very young can't articulate, anxieties. School all of a sudden is out. All of a sudden I don't see my friends. Do you guys find that you're behaving differently in the way that you respond to your loved ones?
Yeah, bit of ratty arguments every now and then.
Yeah, I think those are bound to happen for all of us. Yeah, same experience here, but hopefully it's generally good. I would say with kids, I don't have them, so I can't fully empathize, but I can understand it must be so much more difficult. It's like my business partner, he's on calls, and his daughter, it gets sad that he can't give her attention. And that's really heartbreaking, I can see. I'm in a very lucky position. It's just myself and my fiance, Maxine. And so if anything, I'm spending more time with her than I have in ages because I'm normally in the office for most of the day. So now, even though I'm working day and night, I spend time with her like during the day and in the evening, and we're constantly around each other. We're doing like an exercise routine together, coffee on the balcony. Like,
cool.
It's actually pretty nice. But yeah, man, like respect for all the parents out there. I've talked to a bunch of them recently, and it's like hats off to you right now.
Must be terrible.
The thing is, it's like,
Ian, what are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm sort of a bit of a mix, really. Because the thing is, my wife, she's a speech therapist, and normally would go to the house of her clients, like children she works with, either into schools, which obviously that's not happening, or into people's houses. Some of the clients want to continue, but over like Zoom. So she's got to learn. She's quite stressed about that because it's all technology she doesn't use. So she's got to use that. But also she's leading in terms of homeschooling our children. But yesterday I was sort of in and out doing bits because my daughter finds it easier if I do maths with her rather than my wife did. But she does all the other bits. And like, it's hard because like the whole comparison thing comes up again, not in terms of like, how good I am compared to it. It's how much work other people, like for instance, someone similar to me in terms of what we do is like Stefan Kuhns, and he's been like doing Monday to Friday live streaming on YouTube. I'm taking about 3 weeks just to do one little video.
Yeah.
And so there's that comparison. Like, I feel like I'm
failing.
I'm not getting much done and feeling a little bit overwhelmed because, but then also know that my kids, like the kids are thrown into this situation. Like, I can comprehend it. I'm 41 and I know how I work and I know roughly how the world works, and not been in this situation before, but I've seen, you can research, about like Spanish flu and about other pandemics and Ebola and stuff like that. Whereas the kids have been thrown into a situation they just haven't a clue what's going on. And we do fall out every so often, but then, they are trying to deal with the fact that they're not at school. My sister's having to deal with the fact that she's not going to see her friends before starting a new school, and no transitional period between the old school and new school that was supposed to happen. There was no trip that they were going on. There's like a leaving assembly, so there's not that. And she finished early as well because of my brother. So hopefully she doesn't hold anything against him because he was ill like a week before everyone else was sort of sent home. And so there's so many things going on, and we're trying to make, none of us are teachers as parents, or some teachers are parents, but some of us are just trying to make this up as we go along, and trying not to put too much weight on our own shoulders and too much onto the children's shoulders, because they're just like, my mum's or dad's now the teacher, and
must be weird for them.
It's for those little minds, it's just, so like, but the thing is, I'm very blessed that, I don't like, I have my sort of my digital product selling business, so that's less of a pressure. I feel very blessed that I'm in the position I am, but then I can see a lot of people that are not, and it's so I'm, on one hand there's the sort of thing comparing time, what people are churning out, and I do get a bit of time in my studio, but I just don't feel very productive, and I keep beating myself up. But then I think, we're in a minute of a pandemic where people are dying every day, and no wonder you're not creating the best thing you've ever created.
Exactly.
Or even creating anything, or even just like getting dressed. It's like,
yeah, mate, I saw a thing being like, if you're getting out of bed, you're doing well.
So just telling telling my wife and my kids that I love them, that's a good day.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
It's okay. Or going out for our once a day walk and stuff like that. We've never had this much time together. It feels like for us like a, I don't know if it's called in America, but it's like an inset day in the UK where you have like a day off where the teachers need to do a load of planning at school, stuff at school, and you have like a day off during the week. And it just feels like one of those, but like a long extended period where we're all at home together, whereas I'm sort of like half working because, so that's the position I feel like I'm in. And then obviously you look at other people, but then other people who are like, haven't got kids are really struggling as well, because they're thrown into a situation where they're like, I should be, churning out loads of stuff, but I just don't feel like it. And
something this reminded me of, talking about worrying about how the businesses are going, is something I've been doing just to document the whole situation we're all in. Is for myself, it's actually right here. I learned about these kind of notebooks from Austin Kleon. For people that are not watching, it's called a Zequens. Sorry, I can't pronounce it. Zequens notebook. It's this very soft, flexible notebook. Anyways, I write in these all the time. And every day or every couple of days, I'll write down what's going on. What am I thinking about in terms of the situation we're in as a world? What's happening to my house? What's happening with the business? And then I will write a couple of days later, and I've been doing that for about 2 weeks now almost. And it's interesting to see how you thought things were going to go and then see what actually happened. Oh, this wasn't such a big deal, or, oh, I'm really afraid, or, oh, this. And then you see, and I found it's kind of therapeutic because Like even right now, like I've been writing down, in 45 days, the business is going to lower in sales. Will that happen? It'll be interesting to see if my hypothesis turns out, scientific method style, right? Like, is my hypothesis right? But if it does, then I can say, oh, this shouldn't be a surprise to you, Dustin. Remember, Dustin from the past? You wrote down that this would happen in 45 days. So it shouldn't scare you because you could see it coming. Of course this would happen.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think writing it down and then reflecting back on your feelings over days can be helpful to see your perspective, how it's changing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting approach, actually. I like it. I think because we're doing a two-parter here, that might be all we've got time for today, but some really, really cool questions, guys. So I think that's bye from us, but we will see you same time next week, and we're going to do some more Q&A. Yay.
Hopefully less, obviously coronavirus is everything at the moment, but hopefully we will answer some questions.
More advice.
Then diverge.
I've got the questions lined up, mate. We have got some very, very non-corona, much more design-focused questions. But yeah, I think it was all important ones on a lot of people's minds that we touched on today. So we do hope it helped, and we will see you next time. Bye from us.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. As always, you can find full show notes over at honestdesigners.com or find us over on iTunes and now Spotify by searching for The Honest Designers Show. And remember, we're now on social media too, if you search for Honest Designers. If today's episode helped you, then it would mean the world to us if you took just a moment to leave us a quick review over on iTunes, as this is one of the best ways for other designers to discover the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you next week right here on The Honest Designers Show.